Hey, my name is Jesus Morales, and I'm currently a vicar here at St. Paul. St. Paul Lutheran School has impacted my life in many ways, but one, most importantly, is helping me in my walk with Christ.
Tell us what foundation St. Paul built for you.
Well, it really helped me with my academics leading into high school, which is really important for me because it really helped further my education for when I got there and made it a lot easier.
What choices are you going to be making about your future?
Well, I'm going to Kirkwood Community College, so I'm going to play basketball there. So.
Did basketball at St. Paul have anything to do with you moving up through basketball?
Yeah, it definitely helped me a lot. I got to play on the boys team actually in 8th grade, so that was really fun. And we didn't have. I think we had a girls team for a couple of years, so that was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
And it was just really fun being with everyone out there. And
did you feel prepared for your academic challenges in your school?
Oh, I was for sure prepared. All the teachers were just really helpful, and they just really prepared us for high school, especially in 8th grade with English. That made it way easier when I got to high school. So, because I had already learned most of the stuff when I got there freshman year, I already knew most of the stuff. So,
are you participating in any AP classes or anything like that right now?
I just finished AP Psych last semester, so I think that's the only AP class I took, but I took honors English.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, tell us about your faith foundation. What mattered to you the most about the environment?
Yeah, it was really nice just being able to openly talk about God and ask questions for my teachers and have discussions about it. And it just really prepared me to go to that Catholic environment because I got to ask questions before to kind of know what it was like going into it. So,
how about the small classroom environment? How do you feel about that?
Oh, I loved it. Honestly, all my we were all so close, and it was just a really great class. And I don't know, it was just nice being able to talk to everyone and be close with the teachers too, and just be able to ask questions all the time and be able to not just talk about school, but then we can also just ask questions about different religions or anything we wanted to talk about. They were really helpful.
Sometimes in middle school there are things that come up. Sometimes girl groups can be difficult. And how did your teachers handle that kind of?
I think it was just very different for us because we had more boys than girls, and I don't know. We just all really got along. We all talked to each other and all. I don't know. We never had a lot of problems. I would say we all just were a family really, because we all grew up from. I know I went to school with a lot of them from preschool and kindergarten, so we just were always together. So it was really nice.
Do you think, as a parent, you would make a different decision for your children?
I would not. I want to send my kids to St. Paul for sure. I really want to come back and be able to hopefully have the old the teachers that I had, so then they can have them. That would be really nice.
Did you go on your Washington, D.C. trip?
I did. That was a lot of fun, and I don't know. It was a very good experience being able to see all of that. And we saw a lot because we stopped in Philadelphia, and then we stopped and saw Edgar Allan Poe's gravesite, and so we got to go and read some poems there because we read a lot of Edgar Allan Poe with Mr. Rogers. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Very informative.
Is there anything that you would say to families who maybe are on the fence about whether to send their children to this kind of school?
I would say that it was definitely I'm very glad that my parents decided to send me here and be in this Christian environment with all these everybody was just so nice and caring, definitely. And I don't know, even after high school, I still come back and talk to the teachers and all the students. We all get together. We just got together a couple weeks ago, so and it's always nice seeing everyone, and even people that left earlier, we all still talk, and so it's really nice.
St. Paul drove me to challenge myself to be the best version of myself that I can be, both as a person and as a student. Academically, it challenged me to always work harder and to set a goal for myself to eventually attain and work for that goal. And St. Paul is a place where Christ's sense of love and kindness is encouraged and applauded in all of its students and people in the community. And it's a place where it's very important to share that sense of love with everyone in that community. St. Paul also instilled in me a strong sense of faith in what I believe, and that sense of faith has carried over and grown into high school, and it's something that I've shown, especially recently, since I've been a leader in the Marmion Kairos Senior Retreat, and I've been given the opportunity to inspire others with my story of my faith, the journey, and that's something that I only could have done through the faith that St. Paul instilled in me. A lot of the friendships that I made at St. Paul, although some of them aren't as strong as they were before, have carried over into high school, and we always make an effort to meet back with each other and keep in touch. And there are a few people who I still remain very close to, and proves that St. Paul is a place where you can easily make lifelong friends. One of the very first trips that I went on as a St. Paul student in more recent years was the 5th grade trip to the Art Institute. That was a very educational trip, but very fun. And I grew closer with my classmates as a result. And that's something that only grew as I became older into middle school with Wall Camp. A very fun experience that taught me the importance of teamwork and working to achieve a certain goal with the people around me. And Washington, D.C. was probably the peak of all of that. I was able to spend a lot of time with my friends and spend time learning and also bonding. It was a great opportunity, and it's just a few instances of the memories I made at St. Paul that'll last forever. The journey of faith that started at St. Paul enabled and encouraged me in recent times to become a Sunday school teacher here at St. Paul, and become more involved in youth ministry here. And it's something that is particularly important to me because I can use the faith that I gained as a young person to also share with other young people, and just watching them grow is something that I think inspires me and especially inspires those other young people.
Awesome. So I was able to participate in the accelerated math here. So I believe that started in either 6th or 7th grade, and we started with pre-algebra and even dabbled in geometry. And right away, starting in high school, I was able to skip a couple introductory math classes, and so I was already ahead of the curve. I was taking classes that some sophomores, even juniors, were taking, and so I was already years ahead. And then I was able to finish my math in sophomore year because I was ahead. But I continued to take it. I even got up to pre-calc and calculus and things like that. And then I really like to focus on the English because Mr. Rogers, and Miss Tim, of course, granted, but Mr. Rogers just went above and beyond what I think even some high school teachers do. We read some pretty tough and challenging books here, like classical books and things like that, which I read now, even to date in my senior AP Lang class. So some of those would be like Lord of the Flies. And I was writing essays in 8th grade that freshmen and sophomores at high school can't even write. So it gets you ready there. For theology, like religion class, at ACC, we have monthly masses. The entire school comes together and we have masses. And then in theology class, we'll go over topics, of course, and things like that, and controversial issues. And Mr. Rogers, he was our religion teacher here, and I came into ACC, even though it's a different form of Christianity, being Catholic. As a Lutheran, I was able to still engage in the conversations, and I was prepared, and I was able to sometimes shock people because they're like, how does a Lutheran know so much about the Catholic faith? But I was like, yeah, Mr. Rogers. Yeah, and I still look back to this day, and at the time, there were some things where I was like, oh man, I can't wait to get out of here, go to high school. But looking back, I think middle school and junior high were the best years of my life. I know it's always said, oh, high school, you're going to look back on that, it's going to be awesome. Without a doubt it is. But like basketball here, even running track, playing soccer, you'll make some of the like best memories. You make your best friends here. And I think that was really special for me. Because at ACC, I go to school with 4 or 5 of the kids that graduated from my class. And we still talk, get along in a lot of the same classes. It's special. Fun moments. All right. Peoria basketball tournament. Without a doubt. Because we look back on it, me, Nick Wan, who's valedictorian in the class, might I add, at ACC. Ben Minks, we all look back at the basketball and we'll talk with the other guys from the high school that we played against. And they're like, oh, we remember you guys. You were the team with Delaney and she was insane. And we're like, yeah, I know. We were pretty dang good. It was just a lot of fun. Let's see. Field trips, the best. Going to Washington, D.C., so cool. I don't know of any other schools that do something as cool as that. Wall camp. Being able to, even though it was just a one-day thing, going to wall camp and like learning about the faith and like really shutting yourself out from the outside world and focusing in on yourself at wall camp and just getting closer to God was cool. Cool. There's just so many that I look back on. I get a tear to my eye occasionally thinking about it. Something else that I think is special. So at ACC, the student-faculty ratio is pretty low, which is good, because then students get to have some one-on-one experience with the teacher. But I don't think I've ever had a relationship with a teacher in high school that I had here, with like Mr. Rogers, Miss Tim, Miss Katz. They could, not only do they help you academically here, however deep and intense of like help that you need, but anything you're going through in life, Mr. Rogers helped me through some stuff. He's so cool. I miss Mr. Rogers a lot, actually. I haven't talked to him in a while, but yeah, good dude.